Hello and welcome to FinextraTV at EBAday 2020. In this interview, we'll be covering the decline of traditional revenue sources and the pressure this is putting on banks and financial institutions as a result. We'll look at how customers are demanding 24/7 instant and digital payment interactions and the strain this is having on legacy payments infrastructures. But to guide us through the topic now and calling into our virtual studio is Alex Weaving, Vice President at Fiserv. So welcome, Alex. Thank you for calling in.
Thanks, Hannah. It's good to be here.
No problem at all. So yes, we're talking about how financial institutions are aligning their payment operations, including partnerships and outsourcing to stay relevant and competitive. But before we sort of delve into the detail, can you start off by highlighting some of the recent developments that have perhaps caught your eye recently in Europe and the UK? So let's start there.
Okay, certainly, Hannah. Well, firstly, payments have become a commodity, so the business case for change is focused on cost reduction coupled with lower revenue from lending and other products. Financial institutions believe the move to cloud is one way to reduce this cost. You only pay for what you use, however, costs still exist relating to resilience, support and compliance. So increasingly, financial institutions are looking at point solutions. They're provided as a service on a consumption basis, and the same solution is managed elsewhere and therefore reduce costs. There is, however, some risk associated with this, in that the same solution being managed in someone else's cloud does create risk for you. Organisations such as Fiserv are trying to mitigate that by providing a one-stop shop for all of your payment, fraud and reconciliation needs based on competitive, consumption-based pricing. And we're seeing financial institutions starting to see the benefit of this, particularly with the upcoming cost of implementing ISO 20022 and the UK new payment architecture.
All right, okay, so you've set the scene for us then. So could you go into a bit more detail about some of the challenges that are presented here?
Sure. So as we discussed earlier, Hannah, with payments revenue decreasing and the cost of ownership of maintaining increasing, it's definitely going to get harder rather than easier. Some of the common challenges we're seeing are scaling in a safe way, ensuring compliance, managing new regulations, and of course managing disruptions and failure caused by aging systems. The cost of maintaining and managing multiple payment systems are huge. There's compliance, there's technology upgrades, maintaining infrastructure, and of course the critical resources required to do this. So with these high costs in mind, financial institutions are having to rethink their operating models.
All right, that's interesting. So naturally, following on from that, could you highlight some of the options available then to financial institutions? What about those?
Of course. So I think it's really important, firstly, to understand your strategic vision for payments. You need to decide if payments are a strategic or supporting function. And I think it's fair to say, Hannah, that no one size fits all, and there are plenty of options. From owned to hosted, managed or outsourced, or build and manage in-house, or indeed outsourcing your entire payment services platform to a provider. They will take full responsibility for running all of your services on their cloud, which gives you full flexibility to scale up or down. It also reduces capital and compliance costs, but at the same time maintains a resilient and compliant service. This is certainly attractive for those who can't afford an expensive platform and technology, but still want to offer choice and high levels of service to their customers. And we're certainly seeing many smaller financial institutions take this last option with providers such as Fiserv.
Sure. All right. Well, finally then, could you sort of guide us through the approach financial institutions should take with their modernisation programmes? What about those?
Of course. So I think success will definitely depend on how best you manage your investments and your growth. But the good news is there's no shortage of opportunities. And in addition to the traditional way of managing your payment infrastructure we talked about earlier, 3 options come to mind. Number 1, adopting a flexible approach like a payments as a service allows a rapid response to the market. It reduces costs and complexity, but at the same time maintains a compliant solution built on resilient, scalable infrastructure. Another option is that of a managed service. You reduce the burden on your IT staff, you lower costs for on-premise infrastructure, and also remove the overhead of security and audit. Thirdly, a pay-as-you-grow service model allows you to add capability as you grow, and of course you only pay for what you need. With a reliable infrastructure partner, you're secured for compliance with 24/7 support and monitoring, you gain efficiencies and increase your competitive edge. There's rapid time to market by increasing or decreasing your consumption as required. So I guess, Hannah, to summarise for our viewers, the payments landscape is changing constantly. By partnering with a market leader like Fiserv, you can save costs whilst remaining future ready for compliance and moving with agility and in step with the market.
The landscape is indeed changing very rapidly, and you've really cleared up a few things there, and interested to see how the space develops. But for now, Alex, we'll leave it there today, and I hope you enjoy the rest of EBA Day 2020. So thanks for calling in.
Thanks, Hannah. Enjoy the rest of the conference.